All right, we are started here. Hey everyone, Evan DeYoung here, and I'm here with Zach Escar, the founder of Tent Apps. Zach, how are we doing today?
Doing great. How are you, Evan?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to this conversation. Zach, tell us a little bit about what Tent Apps is and kind of what you guys specialize in.
Yeah, for sure. So we're 10 Apps. I really founded 10 Apps out of a place where I was in ministry, and I was always that tech guy that was in charge of everything.
Yeah,
And
for
so,
sure.
yeah, you know how that goes. The young guy on staff, surely he knows how to use MailChimp. Surely he knows how to update our website. And I had a website design background, website design business on the side. And I was just tired of updating our announcements on all these different platforms. And so we really set out with a goal to help simplify church communications to make things a lot easier, more streamlined, and help save people time on the admin side so they could spend more time in the ministry side of things.
Yeah, having used your products, they save an unbelievable amount of time. The amount of meetings that I had where I didn't have to worry about whether something was going to get posted or go through all these checklists. It was just automated and the software took care of us ahead of time. It was a total game changer for us and everybody that I've gotten to run through the platform. So thanks for taking the time to create it. And I understand you're continually improving it even as we go now.
Yes, and we actually have some really exciting news. Our newest version of 10 Apps, we'd say 10 Apps 2.0, we've been working really hard on recently and are really excited that's coming out very soon. So if you're interested in learning more about that, definitely stay tuned to our podcast, to our website, sign up for our newsletter, because that release will be coming out very soon.
Well, you have seen a lot of church homepages over the years, and
Yes.
you have a lot of experience with these things. So I would say you're somebody that has some really great perspective and opinions on what makes an effective and good church homepage and what kind of challenges a homepage can create when it comes to the new visitor experience and members checking out the website and kind of the functionality and usability. So we're going to talk today about some tips for the church homepage. To kind of center me a little bit, why is the homepage so important for your church website?
So great question, Evan. I really think your homepage, one of the biggest things about it is it's the first place that people are coming when they search for church in my town or church near me, or, hey, I'm moving to this town, church in Dallas or church in Atlanta, wherever you're moving to, or if you're there looking for a church, people aren't necessarily going to typically find an inner page. They're going to find your homepage in the search results. And so it's really, really key if you're trying to meet people where they're at as they're looking for a new church or looking for a church in your community. You want your homepage to shine. You want your homepage to really tell them about yourselves. And so we've put together a checklist here, and you can download this on our website. We'll provide a link to this in the show notes. But would love for you guys to download this, because I really think if you can implement just these 3 simple things on your homepage, it can make a huge difference on whether somebody chooses to come check out your church or keep looking around and find another church.
Yeah, you described in the past your church website and homepage kind of like your digital front door, and you compared it to you wouldn't let the weeds grow up in the yard, you wouldn't let the paint be peeling on the outside when people drive by, and there's some information about how many people check out a place online before they actually go and visit. So given that kind of information in the data, the way that we understand how people engage with like in-person visits to even like stores and retailers, but especially churches, this digital front door, your digital front lawn is something that we have to be paying attention to. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about how your approach has like grown and changed over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. So that front door used to be your literal front door. It was, as people would drive by, they would see your church. Now, with technology advancing the way it has, it used to be just a simple web page of your church. Now, really, people are finding you mobile friendly is a huge part of your homepage. What we've seen, we audited like 50 plus homepages last week alone. And I would say 75% of them on mobile looked horrendous. You couldn't read all the text. The fonts were the wrong sizes. People's faces were being cut off. And it was just one of those things that just not paying attention to detail made it look like a really outdated, like, go for it. What were you thinking?
Well, you had talked about the other day about a statistic that I found surprising, and maybe everybody knows this. Maybe I'm the first one to find it out, but you said over half of all web traffic now is on mobile phones. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah. We see for our churches that really 50 to 75% of your viewers are on mobile phones, which is a huge shift over the last 2 years. It used to be about 25%. Now more than ever, your homepage specifically needs to be very mobile friendly. And so that's a huge aspect that a lot of churches and just a simple drag and drop builder you might be missing out on. And a really important step, because if 75% of the people are coming and they can't even click on the button to plan a visit or to call you or to get directions, or if they can't even see the service times because they're off the screen on your mobile phone, you're really losing out. Now, that brings me to another point here on mobile friendliness, and that's bounce rates. So bounce rate is somebody basically comes to your website, within 3 seconds, they decide to bounce. They decide to leave and go. And so on a normal website, you could expect maybe to see like 50% bounce rate. What we see, though, is that if somebody's looking for a church, they're looking for a place to call home, you really have 3 seconds to capture them. And so that top part of your homepage is so you need to spend a lot of time thinking about that, because if somebody decides within 1 or 2 seconds, if they're going to another church's website or they're staying on yours, you need to capture everything that they're looking for in the top part of your website.
Well, I'm glad that you're here to help kind of shepherd us through some of these things. The landscape changes so quickly, and to know that you're there and your group is there to help kind of navigate that environment as it changes is really encouraging. And thank you for kind of offering these tips. It's been super helpful for our organizations and especially for clients of churches that we've helped work with in the past. It's a total game changer. That being said, let's talk about homepages. What would you want to say at the homepage? What are those things that are going to capture that attention in those first 3 to 5 seconds? And what advice would you give?
Absolutely. So number one, we'd say images. Images are going to speak volume. Images will speak quicker and more clearly than any text will. And so I'd say you want to keep, especially the top part of your homepage, very simple. You also want it to communicate very clearly with amazing images who you are. And so as a person is looking and they maybe open 3 or 4 different church websites, or they're on their mobile phone, they're just clicking real quick, going back and forth. They want to see what is your church like? Like, do I fit in here? They want to see things like, what type of music do you have? Like, what kind of kids programming do you have? Do you have all different ages in your congregation? Like, what should I wear? Should I dress up? Yeah. Should I wear a suit? Should I wear my football jersey? Like, what should I wear? What should I expect when I come to your church? So those types of quick tips are really important. And we've got this checklist for you that you can hit all those. But you just want to think, within 3 seconds, can somebody tell really quickly, just from our images, if they're going to really feel at home here? And now in that, you have to be honest to yourself too. Maybe you have contemporary and traditional, and you can bridge that gap. But if you just have contemporary, put that on there, because somebody might be looking for that contemporary service, and that's exactly what they're looking for. And so you want to speak to that and not have to make them hunt for that in your text, or, oh, hey, I'm new here. Let me click on the I'm new here button, go to the I'm new here page. And then I finally learned that all you have is contemporary worship when I'm really looking for traditional worship. So those images, and especially if you can make those images into some type of video, man, you can really communicate quickly and draw people into your website, because they really feel welcome just by the images.
Yeah, so it sounds like the pictures and the videos are definitely worth 1,000 words on the page. So once we have something engaging in those first 3 to 5 seconds that represents the church well, it's images, it's pictures that people could kind of see what things are like. Now that they're on the webpage, how do they get around?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the next thing we want to look at is navigation.
Okay.
So navigation, whenever I say that, that's your menu bar at the top. Now, especially one of the biggest things, again, with 75% people coming through mobile, your nav menu needs to be very mobile friendly. The next thing too is we see a lot of people use insider languages on their nav menu, and nobody knows what you're talking about whenever you say Rise Ministries. And I'm like, well, what is Rise Ministries? And inside your church, you're like, oh, that's our youth group. Duh. But then outside, you're like, who's Rise? Like, what are we rising?
So insider language would be things that you really wouldn't understand unless you were already involved in the community. And it makes people feel left out, like they're already not a part of the congregation. Tell me a little bit more about why and what insider language is, like why it's so important.
And if you think about your website being the front door, and your website being a tool of evangelism to help invite people to your church, think about those who maybe have never been to church ever before. Maybe those who haven't been to church in a while. And so think about the keywords and the terms that you're using, and use them in a way that is inviting to folks. It doesn't make them feel like, what is this? Am I supposed to know this? Like, I don't, as soon as you make somebody feel uncomfortable by just a simple thing of how you name your youth ministry specifically on your website is the number one thing I just see people like, it's like, oh, they don't have youth here, but they have something called Rise. And they're like, oh, that must be I don't know what that is, but
you got to go
it's
a few
really
clicks
simple.
in.
Yeah. The other thing too is you really have to think about organization of what's most important on your nav menu, especially when you're on a mobile phone. It's going to usually open up a nav menu and you're going to go from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And so some people, they will have like all this sort of links to other things like their external missions or overseas missions or all these different things. And then like youth and kids is at the bottom. Well, if a family's really looking for a church that they can plug in as a family and has a good youth group and a kids ministry, like you would want that type of information to be up top. And so really think through like, how are we prioritizing even just the order of things in our nav menu, but also is our nav menu mobile friendly? Does it really like, even just, is it, if I were to give it to like my 5-year-old, could they read it and be like, oh yeah, let's go to this church because they have a kids ministry? Like,
I think we've all been there where you're trying to click something on your phone and like, I don't know about you, but my big fat fingers, like I can never quite click things, but the websites that show it very clearly and it's easy to click and navigate on my phone, I so appreciate. So I wouldn't want somebody to get frustrated with something in the technology department that would prevent them from seeing like the vibrant life that might be happening actually inside the doors. That's a great point. I think we've all probably been there where we're just trying to zoom in and pinch and like push and tap and you're trying to use every finger that you have and you just can't quite get it done. Well, what else would you want to make sure is included on this homepage then, if there's one more thing that you could focus on?
Yeah. So the last big thing I'd say is plan a visit. If this is really your digital track, your marketing strategy, your evangelism tool, your website is all those things. If somebody's looking at coming to your church, you want to make it really easy for them to raise their hand and identify themselves as, hey, I'm interested, like count me in. I think there's a few ways. One, you want your service times at the very top, somewhere that if somebody's going through really quick, they can see, yes, I'm looking for something on Sunday mornings at this time. Or wow, they have 3 services I could choose from. I can see those times. I could even see maybe, oh, this is a traditional one, this is contemporary, whatever it is. You want to put your service times up top. That's one of the biggest things that people are looking for. Another thing, put those service times at the bottom too, because people are going to, hopefully you've engaged them at the top well enough that they're going to scroll to the very bottom. By that time, they're ready to make a decision. Are we plugging in? Are we not? Hey, husband, hey, wife, what time is this new church we're going to on Sunday? It's at 8:30 or it's at 9:30, whatever it is. The other big thing I'd say is you need a simple, clickable Google map. Like if you want people to come to your church, you need them to be able to find you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so put your address on there, make sure it's clickable, because again, if 75% are on their phones, they're probably reaching for their phones on Sunday morning, and you'd love for them to be able to click get directions and actually pull open a map app and get right there right away. So
that's an amazing set of tips. For those who are feeling a little overwhelmed right now with all of those things, they're trying to manage the day-to-day. Maybe they're a church communicator and they've got 1,000 things and 400 bulletins to fold before Sunday morning. What advice would you give when it comes to just getting started on evaluating some of your digital presence?
Yeah, for sure. So I'd say take this checklist one and just go step by step. Do you have images that communicate? As we audited a lot of websites last week, I was shocked by how many had 0 images of a person. It was like all these stock photos of like just people raising their hands. And it's like, I have no clue, like if I'm going to fit in here. I have no clue, like, are my kids welcome here? Like, is there a place for my kids? And so like number one, just get out your iPhone. I tell people, like, you don't have to go get a professional photographer because you just listened to this. Like, just get your iPhone out, get your Android out, and go just flip it sideways and take like 5 pictures. And I always tell people, sometimes you have to set people up in a joke, like just get them to slap each other on the back, have them shake hands, tell them a joke, and just have people smile. Like, going from a stock image of just like some hands and a black background and stuff with some fog, like, that doesn't tell me anything. But if I can see somebody in your sanctuary with what it looks like to come into your actual church, and I see some smiling faces, all of a sudden I'm feeling connected. I'm getting a better sense. And that you could do, that's just one quick step. So if you were to take one thing away, get rid of stock images on your website right now and go just take like 5 simple pictures that can communicate who you are. Put those on your website, and then you can begin to work on the navigation. Let's work on the plan your visit and some of these other things.
Okay, so let's say that we're looking at it and we want to improve and we love what you've had to say. What could they do to get in touch with you and Tent Apps to get an audit for their website, or start to explore what some of the possibilities would be to get a little backup and some support in this important area of running their organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'd love, come to our website, tentapps.com. We offer free website audits, and we love just taking a look at your website with you. And we'll walk you through some of the areas for improvement. We'll also show you around our platform and how our platform can really streamline a lot of these things. Again, I feel like if you're listening to this, you're spending time trying to reach your community for Christ through digital strategies. And we have a team that is excited and equipped with amazing tools to help you do that quicker, faster than before, and really in a way that'll help reach more people in your community. So,
and how much does it cost to have you take a look at their website?
Free 99.
Free 99, $0.
Free
So all it
99.
takes is a little bit of effort. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Zach, for your time and for all that you and your group are doing. It's making a profound impact in those that you're able to work with. And it's very nice and kind of you to share this information for everybody. Anything else you want to leave everybody with?
Reach out to us. We'd love to help you guys take a look at your website, strategically see how you can just make a few simple, quick tweaks and adjustments and really reach more people in your community. So reach out to us, tentapps.com.
That's great. Tentapps.com. You can definitely check it out. I can say it's made a huge difference in the life of the organizations that I've been a part of that have been able to use it. It's a massive time saver. They're extremely responsive. And my favorite thing is that you get in touch with a real person when you have a problem. They do an awesome job. They're right there in the chat whenever you need help. So you don't have to be so alone and stranded as things kind of change in this rapidly moving digital environment. So Zach, thanks for the time. Thanks for the tips, and look forward to the next one.
Absolutely. See you guys. Stream ended.